It is a real honor to be at the 10th Annual African American Male Summit and to chat with you a bit about some of the important things that I think we ought to be thinking about and engaged with as we make our way in the midst of this present administration. Now I'm going to be nonpartisan. Or let me say, I'm going to bring the noise to both sides. Let me just do it that way. I'll be bipartisan in my critique. But we are living in challenging times when it comes to being a black male. I realize that black women are equally under assault. This is Women's History Month. We recognize the legitimate grievances that they offer and the pain that they endure. And not only them, many other people as well. So by focusing on black males, we do not exclude the reality from our purview of others. But what we are suggesting is that you gotta have medicine tailored toward the particular illness that you confront. So your whole hand is important, but if the thumb is jacked up, you don't just praise the pinky finger. You got to deal with the thumb, right? And the thumb is jacked up. And we got to talk about the jacked upness of the thumb. So we ain't acting like other fingers don't matter. Right? We're not saying pinky doesn't matter or middle finger is up. Sorry, I had to go Queen B on you right there. Sorry, no, I ain't sorry. But what a wonderful opportunity here to talk, because we ain't acting like, or as my dad used to say, we ain't making like other people ain't hurting. Because other people are hurting. Other people are in trouble. But we know that black men in particular are in trouble in a specific fashion. And so to speak about black males is to talk about a population that is at once the most incredible and remarkable collection in our species and race, and at the same time the most vulnerable at a certain level and assaulted historically in a patriarchal culture. Because what offends a patriarch more than anything else is a potential rival as a patriarch. Now, we got to get around to deconstructing patriarchy, because that's hurting all of us, right? If you think, oh, I just want to replace a white patriarch with a black one or a brown one, you're missing the point, right? We want to deconstruct patriarchy and resurrect a better and stronger manhood. Because our manhood ain't predicated upon our muscles or our musculoskeletal situation or the power of our physique or the physiognomy. It's about the depth of our spirituality, the height of our intellectuality, and the breadth of our humanity. If you're a real man, you ain't scared of real women. I'm going to end on that. That's just the preview. I'm just warming up to that point. But when we think about what it means to be a black male, we know that on the one hand, everybody want to be a black male. Excuse me for indulging in the rampant pathology of certain stereotypes, but some of them we can't give up. I don't want to start like this, but I'm just saying. The present occupant of the Oval Office thinks he has to pull the proposition. You got to pull it. Because you're afraid. Don't pull it. Be a black male. Call it. Summon it. with the excellence of your disposition, with the power of your personality, with the irresistible character and chemistry of your integrity. You ain't got to grab nothing, just show up. And if you got enough irradiance and enough power and enough allure, the very mystery of your black masculinity will be an erotic entanglement that offers to others the possibility of delight. And then gonna blame Biggie and hip-hop. Oh, I learned it from him. That ain't what we say. Some say that X makes the sex spectacular. Make you looking from your neck to your back, then from your liver and chills up that spine. That ass is mine. If it's all right with you tonight, we love it. If it's all right with you, that's seeking permission for reciprocal engagement of erotic delight. Professor Burlew and others that I've met across the country, people that I've seen here, this gathering is important because black males are critical to the definition of who we are as a culture. So there's love for us on the one hand, love our language, the way we spit game, our rappers. The reason rappers are so dominant is not simply because they present something that is of allure to the culture. It's the excellence with which we express ourselves linguistically. You can't be dumb and be no great rapper. You can be dumb and be a rapper, but not no great rapper. Right? You sitting around spitting stuff. I mean, think outside the box. Don't just repeat what you hear. And so the reason that Jay-Z and Biggie and Tupac, the reason that Plies the rapper is spitting on Instagram, and I love what he said about Trump. We ain't gonna applaud you for acting like an adult for 1 hour. Everybody Plies leave his album, man. Reason they listen to T.I. and to Kendrick Lamar. Before that to my man, the God MC, Rakim. Y'all don't know nothing about Rakim. Stop it. You into mumble rap. Can't understand what the hell you saying. Hey man, keep mumbling and making money, but Rakim was articulate to the point of precision. Standing by the speaker, suddenly I had a fever. Was it me or either summer madness? Because I just can't stand around, so I get closer, and the closer I get, the better it sounds. My mind starts to activate. Rhymes collaborate. Because when I heard the beat, I just had to make something from the top of my head. So I fell into the groove of the wax and I said, how can I move the crowd? First of all, ain't no mistakes allowed. This ain't no tolerance for mediocrity. This ain't like the administration we enduring right now. People know what they doing. We got people who don't even know what they doing. Ain't never had a job before. Ain't never been elected before, running stuff and messing it up and giving a bad name to white masculinity is seen as an inveterate commitment to profound mediocrity. Come on. I mean, you see, just because you're rich don't mean you know what you're doing. And this kind of thoroughgoing mediocrity, you don't even have the right to be mediocre. You can't even afford as a black male to be mediocre. What it means to be white and to have white privilege is to be able to be mediocre and have a job. And get paid. And be the president of the United States. of America. Think good, just think good. You can't afford that kind of mediocrity. You got to be excellent every time.
Go ahead.
You step out. That's why people are attracted to black males, that no matter our backs against the wall, we keep coming. No matter the power of the force against us, we keep coming. No matter the hurt and the pain we endure, we keep talking. Now all the teachers couldn't reach me and my mama couldn't beat me hard enough to match the pain of my pop not seeing me so. With that this in my membrane and I'm a pimp, the world my defense came. The raison d'etre of a dehumanized, humiliated ego, fragile in its evolution and development, seeking its own level like water. And even the philosopher Mr. Wallace, I used to fuss when the landlord dissed us. No heat. Wondered why Earth days was the worst days. Now we damn right I like the life I live. Because I went from and it's all good. And if you don't know, now you know. We also say, back in the days our parents used to take care of us. Look at them now, they're even scared of us. Calling the state for help because they can't maintain damn things doesn't change. If I wasn't in the rap game, I probably have a key knee deep in the crack game because the streets is a shortstop. Either you're swinging crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. Damn it's y'all being young from the slums eating 5-cent gums, not knowing where your meal's coming from. What happened to the summertime cookout? Every time I turn around, a brother's being took out. Don't ask me why I'm so stressed. My mother got cancer in her breast. Shrinking sources and resources in a post-industrial urban space. The inability to have control and power over the domestic forces that constitute your existence and shape your ego. And as a result of that, there's fierce competition in between and among each other. And so the hurt and the pain of self-recognition, standing by the speaker for sure, but then one of them said, somebody wake me, I'm dreaming. I started as the semen, swimming upstream, planted in the womb while screaming. Tupac said, on the top was my pops, my mama hollering stop from a single drop. This is what they got? Not to disrespect my people, but my papa was a loser. Only plan he had for mama was the blanker and abuser. And even as a seed, I could see his plan for me, stranded on welfare or another broken family. Now you'll see in these lyrics, people acknowledge the existential anxiety and the hurt and the pain that they suffer at home, at the crib, as well as the larger social structures that prevent them from flourishing in the larger neighborhood. It's both and, it ain't either or. And so what it means to be a black male is that we keep coming, but in the midst of difficult circumstances, in the midst of oppression, we keep rising up and thinking again and refusing to allow our lives to be beat down and refusing the utter insanity that we confront to define us. Doesn't mean we ain't facing no real obstacles. Getting expelled from school earlier than most other people. And partly because we got so much intensity.
Go ahead. That's right.
Right, we got energy.
That's right.
Don't be mad at the energy, redirect it.
That's right.
What? The brain is still developing? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't criminalize us. Don't put us in nobody's jail or detention center. Figure out a way to challenge that energy so we become Picasso, we become Stravinsky, we become Langston Hughes, Bell Hooks. Let us become creative. A lot of us get hammered down early on, get discouraged early. In one sense, it's a mark of our greatness. They see how powerful even the anonymous, ordinary black male is. Just step up because we got swag we shouldn't even possess. It's in our DNA. Yes, chromosomes, check. Swag, present. Look up at the nurse. Hey, how you doing? I see it. So some people are intimidated by that. Yes, they call us arrogant, some of us are, but we have the right to assert ourselves in the midst of a culture that is fundamentally hostile to us. Sometimes we got to overcompensate because you underestimate. Why you always talking about yourself? How come you ain't talking enough about me? How come you ain't acknowledging what I do? You celebrating everybody else. You talking about mediocre people who have done a few things. You can't even recognize the greatness of what you possess because you just hate at a certain level. You fear at a certain level. There is something about the presence of a strong, articulate, and selfless black male that can transform the culture. But in school, it raises problems. We coloring outside the lines. We raising our hands when we ain't supposed to. All right. Take that energy. Take that ingenuity. Bill Gates dropped out of Harvard. Now he's a multi-billionaire. So you permit white men to have their own individual path. You permit them not to do the regular thing. You got a president, ain't been hailed as a dog catcher yet, and is the most powerful man in the world. Create some space for some intelligent, assertive, self-important, self-recognized black males. We get kicked out of school early, labeled as behavior problems, seen as indifferent to authority and discipline. Well, have you recognized that that discipline has been militarized, federalized? We're victims of police brutality in atrocious numbers. They got federal agents and cops in our schools, whereas white brothers and sisters and others don't have cops there, but security from their own school or teachers or loving adults. We get thrown into the criminal justice system at an early age for stuff that everybody else is hit on the back of the head for. Amnesty International, over a quarter of a century ago, did a report, said the same problems that little Jill and Johnny are reproved for and sent back to the principal's office, little Shaniqua and Jamal get kicked out of school for. Why is that? That ain't because their behavior is significantly aberrational to the others. It's not more detrimental or deleterious. If you don't know them words, look them up. Deleterious, D-E-L-E-T-E-R-I-O-U-S. Look it up. Detrimental, D-E-T-R-I-M-E-N-T-A-L. That's what my mama told me. You don't know it? Look it up. Why do I use it? So you can look it up. And when you look it up, what you can do? Use it. As a black male. Next time you get called, excuse me, is that being detrimental to the culture in which we live? Freak them out. Next time you want to say mofo, say deleterious. That's cussing with pedigree. And so why is it that our young males get put out of school earlier? Federalized earlier, at least federal forces on them. Criminalized earlier. Set up for a criminal justice system that is unjust and unjust to us. That doesn't recognize our humanity. Our children are being demonized and stigmatized, and sometimes with the help of adults. Some of whom come from our own community. Oh, we think it's smart to demonize the sartorial choices of our children. Now look, you got to tell your kids when and when not to wear stuff. I ain't mad at that. We ain't here to just reinforce your own sense of laxity. We try to bring discipline to the choices you make. And we try to hip you to how the game is played. So we ain't mad at you. I don't care if you sag every day like you live in Sag Harbor. But when you're trying to get a job, become a useful sellout. I told my son, you can sag all day long, but Negro, you got to get on some drawers that are clean. Not because unclean drawers, although they are unsavory, are a moral problem. Not because sagging is a moral problem, because you're working in a culture that already don't understand who you is, already suspicious and skeptical of you, so you're not going to give them extra incentive to demonize you. I can't sag myself. I can't do it. There's too much air conditioning back there for me. And plus, I think there's an empirical, E-M-P-I-R-I-C-A-L. Empirical. That, I'm gonna help you on this one. That which can be falsified or verified through your senses. Touch, taste, see, hear, smell. Empirical. There's an empirical correlation. That is a correlation. C-O-R-R-E-L-A-T-I-O-N. A relationship between two disparate realities or even distinctly similar. A relationship between them. There's a relationship between that can be justified through your senses of the relationship between law enforcement's presence in our communities and the arrest rate of young black men and wearing sagging pants. You can't run from the police in sagging pants. Keeping it real. Yeah, you real in jail. Now, I don't go along with adults who demonize people because of their choice. Yes, give them the sense that when you go to work at Texas Instruments, try to put a suit on. Ain't no harm in that. LeBron wearing a suit. T.I. wearing a suit. Jay wearing a suit. Even Tunchi wears a suit sometimes. Yeah. A Billy. He be wearing a suit too, every now and again. So the point is, you got to understand how to play the game. If it calls for you wearing a suit, that's your uniform for the day. A suit doesn't define you, it allows you to defend yourself. Right? And when you get to the crib, do what you want to do. Unless you're working at a rap record label, and then they wear suits too. Now I know they have low slung drawers, and I tell older people, don't get mad. You used to be young at one point when you had hair. See, back in my day, we had the Michael Jackson fro. Y'all don't know nothing about that. She's a dance machine. Watch her get down, and she do her thing. Oh, no, y'all don't remember that. The big fro. Right, we had a blue jean jacket when I was young. I'm 58 years old. You had a blue jean jacket, you were a thug. You wore blue jeans, you were a thug. Police arrested my brother, had to run home to my daddy to tell him because we were both considered thugs. So if you're mad at the choice of clothing your young people wear, first of all, mentor them.
That's right.
And teach them. And secondly, if their draws are too low, raise their dreams and their draws might follow. Now let me tell you the truth. There was a man, a comedian, 10, 15 years ago, went around the country dogging low slung draws. Turns out he couldn't keep his up either. My Bible tells me, be careful about the grave you dig for somebody else, you might fall in it too. Going around the country dogging people, Bill Cosby did, in case you're wondering who I'm talking about. Let's just call a spade a spade. And the people, and what they're doing, and the yellow in the butt pot. You weren't dropping draws, you were dropping drugs. Allegedly. If that was Rick Ross, wouldn't be no alleged on there. If that was T.I. or Snoop, falling back on that act, what a hell of a gangster league. Get the fucking younger man like an old bachelor college bridge. It's the capital S, we got some fresh and double P, D-O-double-G, what D-O-double-G you see. Showing much flex when it's time to reckon Mike pimping and clocking the grip like my name is Dolomite. Then they said, oh my God, he's a pathological nihilist who's the exemplification of the worst impulse ever. But when a well-known black man of respectability politics who's gone around the country demonizing young people is found to be morally wanting, then there is silence. That's black on black crime right there. Black man trying to beat up as opposed to trying to teach young people, speak to young people, inform young people. If you don't like their music, then play some of yours for them, let them see what it is, or listen to what they're doing, because it's more complicated than you think. And so he went around the country hammering young black people, talking about the way y'all talk. He invented Dumb Donald, Weird Harold, Mushmouth, I'm gonna be back soon, but Then he said, you name your kids, he said, Taliqua, Shaliqua, and Muhammad and all that crap, and they're all in jail. That's a direct quote. Taliqua, Shaliqua, and Muhammad and all that crap, he said. And they're all in jail. First of all, Muhammad is a more ancient vintage than William Bill. And Taliqua and Shaliqua, that ain't none of your business what people name their kids. If you ain't paying child support, ain't none of your business. And take it from me, even when you pay child support, you might not get a vote. I'm sorry for that personal bitterness that slipped right in there. Let me refrain from that flashback 25 years ago. A lot of people buy my book named Shaniqua, and Taliqua, and Bebe, and Lisa with 2 S's and an AE. That's how Negroes do it. We just invent our name. And then some Negroes with real African names come along. I'm sorry, that's not authentic. My name is Akua. And they start telling you, a lot of these African names, your name Friday. Don't get all huffy and puffy about it. And somebody says, well, we don't know what Jamal and Jamala and Shaniqua and Shanesqua mean. I said mean what they wanted to mean. That's what it means. What your mama meant to name you when she named you. She don't know. Until later, she was on them drugs and she didn't understand. I mean, from the operating room. But didn't Gwyneth Paltrow name her daughter Apple? What is she, a computer? That's just what she wanted to do. If you want black people to name their kids better things, give us a better brand of access to liquor. Black folk name their kids after stuff they want and can't have. What's your name? Mercedes. What's your name? Lexus. What's your name? Versace. We name our kids after stuff we want and can't never get. What's your name? Good loving. Huh? That's what black folk do. Who you know name Oprah besides? That's it. That's a unique Negro name. What was her name supposed to be? Oprah, right? But you know what black, I thought that's what it said. That's how I read it. It looked like Oprah to me. Keyshawn Johnson? Shaquille O'Neal? I know that Shaquille is Nigerian, but O'Neal, what is that, Black Irish? Condoleezza? Who do you know named Condoleezza besides? What does that name even mean? Well, her mother was a great, as the former Secretary of State is too, a great musician, instrumentalist. So Condacezza was an Italian musical signature, ironically and paradoxically enough, meaning sweet music, sweet sound. So she wanted to take sweet sound, Condacezza, and turn it into something. But Negroes ain't gonna name your kid Condacezza. So we African Americanized and named her Condoleezza. Just trying to help you out with stuff up in here today. It ain't the Negroes with unusual names that disturb me. It's Negroes with real regular names be messing us up. Black men named Clarence and Ben have been messing us up. If I had a little bit more time, I'd wear that out. So my brothers and sisters, what I'm saying to you is that in the midst of this, we had somebody going around the country demonizing young black males, young black people more generally, not understanding the complicated situation and circumstance. Look at the disparity in budgets for schools, $60, $70, $80 million schools out in the suburbs. They got aquaria and fast speeds of hookups with the internet, high-speed internet connections. You in the hood, you ain't even got a second-hand book. The bathroom water don't even work right. Stuck in Compton, Inglewood, in places where you should be treated to a better possibility of education around this state and indeed around this country, thinking where the resource base should be higher, but we live in poor communities, and therefore the tax base doesn't support the schools because the schools are poor, because the neighborhoods are poor, and the neighborhoods are poor because the parents are poor, and the parents are poor because they have lack of access to a job. And these are the children that come to school every day, and many of them are black males. Then you wonder why they're under assault and attack, getting hurt at home, getting hurt in the community. No place of refuge, so they find an outlet in some of their music or their style or their dress. You've got to understand who you're addressing and who you are, and as you mature. So when I say become a, quote, sellout, I don't mean that literally. What I'm saying is adjust your desire to the design before you and design your future by learning to play a game in a way that benefits you. You ain't no sellout for wearing no suit. You could be a sellout in a kufi. You can have kente cloth on your head and be a sellout. You can have an afro with a processed mind. Ain't what you wearing. It's what you wearing out when you do what you do. It's what you bring to the table. It's the person inside of that wrapping and that dressing. So I love you and embrace you. I do not demonize you. I tell you, exploit the ingenuity of your cultural expressions, but at the same time, understand the world in which you got to live. And understand most of y'all ain't going to be a rapper, a ball player, an entertainer. So what should you be? A lawyer, a doctor, a philosopher, a teacher, an administrator, an educator, an educated ditch digger. An intelligent pipe fitter. Powerful journeyman as a, if you will, janitor, an engineer of trash if you want. Because you can make dough doing that. All I'm asking you as a young black male is to understand that you must realize the culture in which you live and what they think about you, and then flip it to your advantage. Because I said a lot of people want to be black men, a lot of people afraid of black men at the same time. Want to be us and skirt us at the same time. Love us when our name is LeBron and we can titillate them on the basketball court. Love us when our name is Jay-Z or Michael Jackson. Love us when our skills are put to use to be quiet and to be non-political and to reinforce prevailing stereotypes. But understand, some of the fear of black men is because we come from a great lineage of freedom fighters. You heard our real keynote speaker talk about let's get free. That freedom is important. The philosopher said freedom from or freedom to. Are you free from the impediments and obstacles and the barriers that are imposed on you sometimes by yourself? Or are you free to be everything that God made you to be? I'll tell you this way. The great philosopher George Clinton put it this way. Free your mind and your ass will follow. Well, that's philosophical. That's up there with Hegel and Kant right there. Free your mind and your ass will follow. Your ass is following your predetermined cognizance and your ability to mentally get where you're supposed to be before your ass follows. I was taking a plane once. Grew up in Detroit, living in Chicago, going back. My plane ticket says I left at 11 o'clock. Said I arrived at 10:55. You know what it is, that time difference. But really it was a philosophical point. You got to already be where you're going, or when you get there, you won't even know you're there. You got to aim to get there first. You got to see it first. You got to imagine it first. You got to dream it first. You got to gather that thought in the heart of your bosom first. And then you can design your way there. Most of y'all have talents that you're not even fully aware of, and we as adults should make you aware of your talents. Now, some of y'all got dreams that ain't gonna be real. You 4'11", you want to play in the NBA. I'm not saying it's impossible, it's just highly unlikely. If you ain't Spud Webb or Muggsy Bogues, it's not really likely. But you could be 4'11" doing some serious stuff with IT. You can invent a game that uses the metrics and statistics of basketball to justify your existence and create capital. You ain't got to allow the limitation you experience as a lethal one, but you got to know what your real skills are. You got to know what your real capacity is. You have to know what your real talent is. And as a young black male, it is our responsibility to help you find out what you're good at. And if those things are legal, pursue them. And if they're illegal, find a legal methodology to use your knowledge. And so, my young friends, you are both desired and demonized at the same time. We had a black man who was president of the United States of America for 8 years. You might have heard of him, Barack Obama. I know many of you are using your Trump card right now. And this man, for 8 years, he did it like they said they wanted it to be done. Wore a suit, spoke the king's English to the queen's taste. Hi, how are you? Fine, how are you? They got mad at him, got nasty. He said, yes, we can. He went to school, Occidental College out here first, then Columbia, then Harvard. Wife went to Princeton and Harvard. Got smart girls. He was a stone cold smart brother. Now, for 8 years, this black family lived in public housing. Now, don't you put that down on Section 8 application. You ain't getting 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. He did everything he was supposed to do. They still hated on him. Still didn't like him. In fact, the man that's in office now tried to challenge him. Said he wasn't even legitimate. He wasn't real. Tried to rim him mine. Oh my God. Oh, this hurts me. Jesus. I love you, baby. You just on constant repeat of the same 25 to 30 words. You got a black man who was the head of the law journal at Harvard and then went on to become a state senator and then a United States senator and then the president of the United States of America. Got more intelligence in his little finger than you possess in the entire vibrating body of that orange colossus that articulates itself to us. You said he wasn't real because you didn't know where his birth certificate was, and then when he showed it like he was a slave, showing papers, you still weren't convinced because this is the height of white arrogance and white privilege that a mediocre, not even seriously intelligent white man can call into question the pedigree of a manifestly superior black man. So, if I were Obama's anger translator, on the last day, this is what he, look, bitch, I beat you twice. I done done everything you said. Kiss my black ass. we're telling you there are going to be bumps and impediments and obstacles. Even when you wear a suit, they're going to treat you like a nigger. Even when you're articulate, they're going to be painfully mad at you. But what they can never take from you is the assurance that in your soul you have done and strived as highly and as excellently as possible, and nobody can take that from you. And let me say this to you, young man. You have a chance to do stuff that my generation of black men didn't successfully do. Like fight the homophobia that's in our community. Now, you know, black men say, I'm gonna be a real man. As if a gay person can't be a real man. Like when I was young, we knew Andre was gay. But Andre was whipping everybody's butt in the neighborhood for us. He was our protection. He gay and cold at the same time. That was homo thug before the word became popular. Why are we tripping on that? As if you ain't already got gay friends. You know they gay. Maybe even before they know they gay. You go to church, you hear some of your homophobic mothers and fathers railing against gay people, you hypocrite. Because some of them secretly gay themselves. They mad at the gay people in the choir, you ain't kicking them out. Jesus, you're the center of my joy. They ain't kicking none of them out. I ain't never been to a black church that turns down gay tithes. Ain't turning out no gay money, baby. The only funny money they don't want is change. And then some of us got retroactively homophobic. Oh my God, I didn't know you were gay. Had I known you were gay, I would never heard that great sermon you preached that saved my life and kept me from committing suicide. If I'd have known you were lesbian, I would have never taken that full ride to my community college to allow me a foot up in life. This madness. If we are serious black men, we love all of our brothers, including gay brothers. They black too. Black people kill me. Well, they don't confuse us with them. Them is you. There are gay people who are black, like James Baldwin. And if you go see that documentary that's out, I'm Not Your Negro, what he really said, I'm not your nigga. He said, why is it that America needs to create a nigga in the first place? He didn't say nigga, he said nigger. That's different. Nigger is the white supremacist logic that is spread from tongue to tongue and breast to breast and vision to vision that occupies, say, the collective unconscious of a guy like, I don't know, Steve Bannon in the White House. And then the racially charged Jeff Sessions, who is the Attorney General. We warned that he might do this. He acted like he was Little Lord Fauntleroy during his confirmation. But now, one of the first things he did was remove the Department of Justice from supporting a serious attack on voter ID laws that undermine our franchise. If you don't know what that is, go look it up. And so, he didn't say nigga, he said nigger. Because nigger is a vile word of detestable intensity. Niggas is a different thing. I don't want any white people here to get confused. I'm not clear at all. So I can't say nigger, but I can't say nigga. No, nigga, please. No. I don't want to get you hurt up in here. I don't want you going, hey, you my nigga. It might be your last word. That's something black people say to each other. Now, not all black people agree, and I appreciate that. Some black people think it's just as vile and violent as nigger. I happen to disagree, but I respect your opinion. But there's something different about nigga. That's a different linguistic peregrination. That's a different manifestation of an intensity of affection that we can share among ourselves. Martin Luther King Jr. the night before he was murdered said to Andrew Young, little nigga, where you been? Now you know if Dr. King can break off a nigga. That's my nigga if I don't get no bigger. Shizzle my nizzle. Okay, that's not what he said. I ever tell y'all that story, Dr. King, how he really got to sell? You know, he was beefing a little bit with Mrs. King. I know it's hard for you to imagine civil rights leaders and their wives argue. So they had a little argument, so he went out to get a pack of cigarettes. Yes, he smoked. He was 39 years old when he got killed. Death threat every day, let the man have a cold. He wasn't worried about dying from cigarette smoke, but being smoked by white supremacy. And if I had a church. So he went out to get some cigarettes, and then he looked around. He said, my God, I went out to get some cigarettes. Me and Corey were beefing a little bit. And then I saw 4 Negroes following me, and I said, hell, I can't go home tonight. I might as well march to Selma. And Negroes started joining me. Okay, that didn't really happen. Nigga is different. Nigga means a lot of things simultaneously. You can be happy, nigga! You can be mad, nigga! You can be surprised, nigga! And you can be encouraging. Go on, nigga! You can express as disbelief. Nigga, what? And you can just be back, nigga, please! So nigga is quite useful. There's a difference between nigga and nigger. One, an intense preoccupation with the demonized, dehumiliated other. Another with the attempt to retrieve and redeem from within as an expression of intellectual and ideological fidelity. And so my brothers and sisters, what I say to you then is that here we are demonizing gay brothers and lesbian sisters. They are our brothers and sisters. We must celebrate and love them and embrace them. But we also must embrace the poor people in our neighborhoods. We thinking they are the niggas that we hate and despise. We don't want them to show up. I told you about Cosby already. Look at what that does. It divides us. I was a teen father. You heard in my introduction, Dr. Shabazz. I lived on welfare for 3 years. I hustled in the street. I didn't start college until I was 21, and I started at community college. A lot of people wrote me off. Right? I wasn't going to do nothing or be nothing. I done wrote 20 books. I got a PhD from Princeton. I done won a bunch of awards. I know what mentality is. I can't sling no crack. I can't shoot no basketball. I ain't singing no song. But boy, I'll be your big brother on TV and whipping ass if somebody trying to go. I sling words. That's what I do. I like books like niggas write books. I'm almost done. And see, black males are important in our community. We see that the last election was said to be a referendum on the white working class, like it ain't no black working class or brown working class or yellow or red working, like the only working class is white. I love white brothers and sisters who work hard, but a lot of people work hard. Lyndon Baines Johnson said, if you can convince a poor white person to hate the Negro beneath him, right? He said, then you can pick his pockets. That's what happens. People think of billionaires as blue-collar billionaires. Populous? You lost by 3 million votes, sir. You ain't no populist. You ain't got no mandate. You happen to win in 5 states and you're lucky. That the Electoral College, which in part was compromised on because of enslavement, and the 3/5 constitutional obligation to count us in a certain way, the arithmetic and mathematics of the Electoral College ought to be talked about. Right? white working class needs to see has got more in common with us. Martin Luther King Jr. was in jail in Birmingham. And his jailers, his white jailers came to him, and the warden said, Dr. King, you're wrong. Segregation is right. He said, no, it's not. And then he got into a conversation, started asking them how much money they made. And then at the end he said, well, hell, y'all need to be out here marching with us. Po white, po black, country music, blues. Same people, right? Latinos, serious music, Mexicans getting deeply and rigidly opposed, Asian brothers and sisters, all of the enchanting musical expressions. I mean, the blues, with that sense of tragic comedy, just like country music. I mean, I'm an old school country fan. I like Hank Williams and Patsy Cline and them old Bobby Blue Bland. If you're going to walk across my lawn, he said, as a bluesman, least you could do is take off my shoes. Take off your shoes. And then Denise LaSalle said, hey lady, your husband is cheating on us. All those blues people. I've been down so long, down, look up to me. I like them old school country too. All my exes live in Texas, that's why I live in Tennessee. If I'd have killed you when I met you, I'd been out of jail by now. Oh my God. Now we ought to come together. We got the same outlook and sensibility. I know a lot of right-wing conservatives who would be abhorred to find out I like country music because it's transmogrified into a right-wing preserve of good old boyism. But go back to your roots and discover, if you po in white, you got more in common with people who po in black and po in brown and po in red and po in yellow than you got with the rich white people. And for you young black males, a lot of white folk will say, well, you know, you got more privileges than I do. You got more scholarships to go to college and you're richer. They'll tell me all the time, they say, you're a rich Georgetown professor. I said, I'm a professor from Georgetown. That's for sure. I said, but isn't it interesting? Why is it about money now and it ain't always been about money? Jackie Robinson's kids didn't get no exemption from Jim Crow. Joe Lewis's children still had to eat at the black restaurant. It was not about money then. Class is important, but don't ever mistake the durability of race as well and racism. One of the greatest white privileges that exists has nothing to do with your money. If you are a poor white person and you encounter a police and live to tell about it, that's a great privilege that many of us do not enjoy. If you are not seen skeptically and people look at you as if you're about to commit a crime, that's a tremendous privilege that has nothing to do with your class. And as I end, as I told you I would, if you are a black male and you worth your salt, then you ought to love the women in your life. Now, as I said, I see young men just scared of women. Femophobia. Real women show up, you get scared. Tell them why you're scared, son. Why are you scared of a real woman? You don't want nobody you can just walk over. Right? You don't want no rag. You want a real woman. And the last time I checked, the women in our lives, be real. Don't be upset by that. You're a strong black male. You can take a strong woman. You ain't intimidated by that. And I know a lot of us say we're supposed to be, but we're not. Real black men love real women. If that's your orientation. Love them. And in order for you to be a feminist don't mean that you give up the integrity of your masculinity. It means you don't automatically win the conversation because you're a man. Right? It means that you don't just go around exercising predatory masculine sexual behavior. Like I said earlier, you ain't got to be grabbing nothing. That ain't your pedigree. That's not what you come from. You come from men whose self-confidence radiates a an erotic patina that is irresistible to many. A lot of people love chocolate. You got your chocolate in my peanut butter. I told you I was a teen father. I was 18 and she was 26. That's hidden figures. So let me in. During this Women's History Month, as we talk about black males, we can combine them. Love strong women. I talk to some men, they tell me, I'm tired of black women. I said, why? He said, because they're bitter. Wake up in the morning, good morning. No, it ain't. I said, brother, maybe you made them a little bitter. Maybe your behavior made them a little bitter. And then they say, I don't like, why don't you like them? I don't like them because they're too choosy. Now that's interesting to me because the last time I checked, black and then after that Latino women choose more men beneath their so-called educational pedigree and achievement than any women in America. Right? Sister could have a PhD with a dude who got a bachelor's degree. Sister with a master's got a guy who got 2 years of college. Sisters with a bachelor's degree got a guy in 8th grade. Not now. I don't see nothing wrong. I don't mean that. Yeah. So, I'm talking about education-wise. Right? That's what sisters do. Just fix your teethers up, Leroy. Come on. Clean your gold grill tomorrow. Let's go. And then, I'm almost done. They say, I'm tired of these black women. Why? Because they're too bossy. Okay, you got a point right there. I can't even lie. You got a point right there. But guess what? Thank God for a bossy white or black or Latina woman. Some of y'all wouldn't even be up here without a bossy woman. Get your ass up, change your clothes, and apply to college because you're going to school today. You know that. Thank God. Thank God for a bossy woman. See, in my day, we used to sing songs. I try to do this everywhere I go to remind y'all. See, Jay-Z said, I can't see him coming down my eyes, so I'll make the song cry. No, we were crying right with the song. Sunshine, blue sky. Please go away. My girl found another and going away. With her went my future, my life is filled. So day after day, I stay. I know to you, but I wish it would have rained. Y'all don't know nothing about that, y'all. And then the girl made us lose our mind. We didn't mind saying it. Have you seen her? Yeah. Tell me, have you seen her? I see her face as the strong wind blows on the street, even at the have you seen her? And then we got philosophical. Why, oh why? Did she have to leave and go away? Oh, I've been used. You can understand every word they were saying. I've been used. Having someone. Now where you at? Now I'm at the mall. You're here. I'm there. Where are you? My GPS doesn't work. Then the girl made us see things. Would you mind? Today I saw somebody who looked just like you. That's where she did. She walked just like you. Guess what? I thought it was you. But wait a minute. As she turned the corner, I called out, Shanae! I'm sorry, I thought you was my girl. But you know what? You kind of fine. Let me get that man. body of my Jeep. I love Trey Songz. I like his new jam, little twist in his hair. He's a good brother. But he had a song, you gonna think I invented sex. I love you, but you didn't. I think Barry White might have had something to do with that. Y'all remember Barry White lived here in Los Angeles, California. Playing your game, baby. Just you and me. I think Marvin Gaye had something to do with it. Don't you? Marvin said, I don't see nothing wrong with you. Giving yourself to me can never be wrong if the Spirit moves you. Did he bring the Holy Ghost up into the bedroom? I think Teddy Pendergrass had something to do with it. He started off like Obama, close the door. Then he ended up like Al Sharpton, shut him off! I'm done, but I'm gonna tell you this, young man. Don't ever be scared of no strong woman that can save your life. You think Harriet Tubman wasn't strong? What do you think she did? Excuse me. There's a little thing called the Underground Railroad. I want you guys to come along, it's really cold. They would be in a night at 8:30. And don't be late. And then some of them came along, we was gonna go, Miss Tubman, but we done changed our minds. But we's not crossed to tell nobody. Oh, she said, I know you won't. She had a Bible in one hand and a pistol in the other. Huh? She had to cold cock some of those Negroes. You remember that? Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. Mama said, and she had to knock them